All right, you're in tune to 88.5 FM, WVOF in Fairfield, Connecticut. It is 3 minutes after 6 o'clock. Joe Kelley doing a tour with the Upper Room this evening till 8 this evening, and we're very excited to host this program tonight because we are going to feature in the first hour talking with members of the PRN, Prince Rodgers Nelson Alumni Foundation, as they get busy and ready for a 3-day spectacular out in Minneapolis. And our next guest, we'll be talking with actually Jackie Thompson, who's the president of the foundation, in about a half hour. But our next guest is a great friend of ours. She's been in our studios. She's been on our show several times. And she worked with Prince and the Minneapolis scene. And she is the founder of Urban Farming. And we welcome once again to WVOF and the Upper Room with Joe Kelley, Taja Sevelle. How you doing, Taja?
I'm doing very, very well. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, and in the midst of music and all sorts of business ventures, you also are still staying on top of Urban Farming, which you founded. What's been going on this summer with Urban Farming?
Well, Urban Farming, as you know, just to back up a little, is an organization that I founded in 2005, and it's an organization that originally started by planting gardens, community gardens of free food, and we grew very, very rapidly and pretty fast in other states as well. So we started in Detroit, Michigan. But now we have over 64,000 gardens around the world in 61 countries that are a part of the Urban Farming Global Food Chain. And so once we got to a certain point with our expansion, we started giving away free plants and gardening supplies for people to start their own gardens, because we had planted hundreds of community gardens primarily around the United States, but our vision was always global. It was always really big, to create an abundance of food for all in our generation. And so that vision really was for millions of people to have gardens all around the world. And so, obviously we can't plant 1 million gardens ourselves. So we got into phase 2 of our mission. And so this year we're continuing our tradition in phase 2, which is to have free plant giveaways. And we did one in Detroit. We're doing one in Los Angeles in October, on the 7th of October. So we help individuals and families start their own gardens by giving them free plants and garden resources. And we can really help a lot of people within a matter of hours. So it's pretty exciting.
Now, how did you first become interested in that?
Well, after my record deal with Prince had expired, I was doing some songwriting for Warner Chappell, and I also had a record deal with a label in London. But I got out of that deal, and I was living in New York at the time, and I signed a deal with Sony 550, and it was a pretty big record deal. There were about 9 different record labels bidding on that deal, so to speak, and Sony was the one that I ended up going with. And so I was recording a CD in Detroit, Michigan with a great producer by the name of R.J. Rice. And, and I stayed there for the summer. I still had my apartment in the city in New York, and I was recording my CD for Sony. And then I went on the following year, released the CD, and toured overseas and a little bit around the United States. Eventually, I ended up buying a home in a suburb right outside of Detroit, and I just really became acquainted with all of the unused land in the city. I saw just huge stretches of blighted land and began to learn more and more about the poverty and job loss in the city. And so I decided to put my music career on the back burner, and I started planting some sort of test gardens in 2004. And in 2005, I launched Urban Farming. So the whole idea was, why should anybody go hungry, especially in a city like Detroit, which is obviously one of the sparks for the whole idea. But why should anybody go hungry if you have all these pieces of blighted land, and let's just plant food on the land? But breaking that out to other cities like New York and New Jersey and St. Louis and Los Angeles, we began also to introduce the idea of edible walls, edible rooftops. Rooftops some people were already starting to do that, but edible walls were really, we kind of launched that in on Skid Row in Los Angeles in 2008. We did, I think, 4 edible walls at the Los Angeles Regional Food Bank and at a high school, and a center for formerly homeless people, people who were formerly on the street.
Right.
And so we got creative, and it just grew, and it's been a really amazing part of my life. I've learned a lot doing this, because I started in music when I was really still in high school, and I really I had lived on a farm, and I wanted to be a botanist when I was like 13, and I had lived on a farm for a couple of years. I was born in Minneapolis, but I had that experience, so I could draw from it. But I had largely been in the music business my whole adult life. So starting a charity from scratch and just really growing with it has turned, has added something really amazing to my life.
Our special guest here on WVOF is Taja Sevelle, and Taja is involved, and she's an alumnus of the Prince Alumni, PRN Alumni Foundation. They're celebrating 30 years starting Thursday, September 7th, and musical guest at the Machine Shop King. And there's a really cool event that's going to also happen on Saturday night, September 9th. Alumni shares at the Capri Theater in Minneapolis, but Taja Sevelle is very involved in this weekend. People are bidding to have lunch with you September 7th and attend opening night of the foundation celebration. So for our listeners, give a little background on what's going on, and going to have dinner at one of your favorite spots in the Twin Cities, right?
Yes, what it is the winner will get 2 VIP tickets to the opening night of the event, which is the 7th. And then the next day, the 8th, we'll have lunch together at one of my favorite restaurants, which is the French Meadow Bakery and Cafe. And we're raising money for urban farming, so we're really thankful that people are bidding on it, and looking forward to having lunch with the winner or the winners, because 2 people can come to the lunch as well. And so it will raise some money for the PRN Alumni Foundation, the VIP tickets, and it also raises money for urban farming. And I just thought it was wonderful when I heard that Jackie Thompson was, putting this together a while back, when she really has spearheaded this idea. And the alumni, the people who worked with Prince largely behind the scenes, obviously some of them I knew, and some of them I'll meet for the first time when I'm there, because the alumni span very many years, working with Prince and helping to bring together so many of the wonderful creations that he visualized and bringing them to life, whether it was a show, whether it was giving to charities in between shows at different cities all around the world. These are the people who help make that happen, and they really have wonderful insights and stories about Prince to share with people, and other sides of Prince that really don't get heard, but that are so beautiful. And so I was so happy when she said that she was starting the PRN Alumni Foundation, which is a foundation that will help to support the various charities that Prince supported. And obviously urban farming was one of those. But I just thought it was such a beautiful tribute to his legacy.
Now, back when you recorded the record on Paisley Park and worked with Prince in the studio, you know, he of course, legendary production for his own music and tours. Do you think he enjoyed just, you know, working with someone else and staying, you know, of course he wasn't in the background, but, you know, taking a little bit of a sidestep and seeing other people record his music and collaborate? Do you think he really enjoyed that part?
Well, you know, at the time, he told me that I was the first artist that he really gave freedom to. So he did not produce my CDs.
Okay.
My CDs were produced by a gentleman by the name of Chico Bennett. Mm-hmm. And who's a fabulous musician and producer and has gone on to be, you know, a Grammy-nominated, just wonderful, he's done quite a bit, producer. But he also plays pretty much everything, and he was a great producer for me to work with. And I think that it was, for Prince, it was good and bad. You know, I think that it was sort of a double-edged sword, because it was outside of his comfort zone to allow, you know, that much freedom to another artist, and simply because Prince is such a brilliant artist. He was constantly creating and having visions of what he wanted, and he could hear so clearly every note of what he wanted, and see very clearly what he wanted. So he really just needed people to sort of fulfill those visions. And so when I came along, you know, and I'm from Minneapolis, he's from Minneapolis. As it turns out, we actually both went to the same elementary school. But, you know, so I had my own sort of headstrong, sort of Minneapolis kind of vibe, and he saw that, and he recognized that I was an artist, and that I would want to have my own freedom to write my own songs and sort of put together my own thing. And he allowed it, you know, but it wasn't, I don't think it was easy. He told me at times that, you know,
right,
that it wasn't easy for him, but I always respected and appreciated it, and he had consistently showed respect for me and my artistry, and certainly also with urban farming. He really was behind what I was doing with urban farming and what our whole team, you know, was doing and obviously continues to do.
And you made mention that you had some discussions, you know, not too far from his passing about doing some stuff, right?
Yeah, well, some of these will be some of the stories as well. Like, I will speak on opening night at the event, and also I'll speak on Saturday as well. We'll talk much more in depth about what Prince did and the philanthropy, not only with other charities but with urban farming. But he had a very big heart, and we were always, you know, planning new things and talking about creative ways that we could contribute to the world, and, you know, to try to make it a happier place for people. And you know, and that's really what was in his heart. And so, you know, I don't know. Lots of musicians are giving in that way. And then there are some who really are just extraordinary in their giving, and Prince certainly was one of them.
Have you been back to Paisley Park since his passing?
I have not. No, I really just I think it's going to be pretty hard. I mean, I don't think, I know.
Right.
And
right.
So yeah, I haven't, and I don't know if I will when I go back.
Right.
I you know, it's been a tough year, I'll have to say, you know, when obviously Prince passed, my mother-in-law passed, my godmother, who was like my mother, passed. It's just been a rough year, so it's kind of a question of, like, how much more can you take, and
right.
should I go there now, or should I, you know, because I already know that I'll break down. I mean, I broke down the other day. I was listening to one of the songs that I love, that I remember Prince had let me hear when he was in New York one time. We were hanging out, and he let me hear the song, and I said, "Oh my gosh, it's so beautiful! You know, when are you going to release it?" And he wasn't planning on releasing it right then, but I thought it needed to be released right away. And
right.
Anyway, I came across it on YouTube the other day, and it just,
tore you apart, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that and some other things. I think I read an article about something at Paisley or something that had me crying. And
right.
So, yeah, I mean, if I can't even read an article about it right now, I don't know if I should go there.
There'll be time, but, Paisley Park's not going anywhere. Let's hope so.
It's not going anywhere. Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
How's your good buddy Nile Rodgers? From all signs, he's been doing real well, right?
Yeah, I was going to say, Nile, when I was thinking about various artists and musicians who are so giving, I was literally thinking of Nile also. And obviously he's in Connecticut and New York, and he's been all over, man. He's just been doing such a great job, and he got, I believe it was a humanitarian award from Prince William, and he got the Icon of the Year award, and he's just been, he's got recently he received a Grammy, and he does so much giving himself through the We Are Family Foundation, which my husband and I just attended in April, and he's doing such wonderful work around the world. I'm so proud of him, and I know he and Prince were doing things together. And I saw the article where Prince actually interviewed Nile, and I thought that was pretty cool. And I told Prince that I liked the article, and he got a kick out of doing it. So there's a lot of love, a lot of mutual respect, And
they jammed on stage in New Orleans, right?
Yes, they did, and I was supposed to go to that, and I wasn't able to, and so but it's so great, to have. Nile is a really beautiful person, and so it's just so wonderful to know both of them, and to see them, jamming together like that, and know that they're both such great people,
Right. Taja Sevelle is joining us. Jackie Thompson in about 10 minutes. Before we say goodbye to Taja, we're going to actually play a couple of her songs after we say goodbye. But and alumni.org for all the information on the 3-day convention out there in the Twin Cities, September 7th through the 9th, celebrating 30 years. The Prince Alumni Foundation, Stories from the Park. The King is going to be performing at the benefit. And Taja Sevelle, a great lunch. You can have lunch with Taja Sevelle and attend the opening night of the celebration. And it is at the French Meadow Bakery and Cafe in Minneapolis, and
the lunch with
the lunch, right?
The lunch will be which is fabulous. Yep, and all organic, and you can also get vegan if you want. And so there's a good choice in the menu at French Meadow Bakery and Cafe. They've been very supportive of urban farming as well as People's Organic. We have People's Organic Chocolate, which is vegan chocolate, which is also available at Paisley Park. But one thing I do want to say, too, is I'm really thankful this year. Earlier this year, I put out a song called Little Diva, and it went top 30 on the Billboard Dance Club charts. So we're very thankful for that. And there's a wonderful company by the name of Belber, and they are just exquisite handbags and luggage, handmade, all handmade. So they're donating 3 beautiful handbags to the silent auction for the PRN Alumni Foundation celebration. So we're really, really thankful for Belber, and Belber also got behind my song, Little Diva. So they've just been really cool, and I wanted to give them a shout-out and express my appreciation to Belber.
Right, and a great photo right there with the ballet moves. For
what was that?
For Little Diva, the photo with you.
Oh, right.
Ballet dancer there, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So, Taja Sevelle, hey, Taja, thanks as always for coming by the show. And,
thank you for having me.
We've got to have you and Les up to the studio one day this year.
Absolutely,
Yeah. You know where the
wonderful.
studio is, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
that would be great.
We're actually going to get into Little Diva, which a great dance song, and then play something from Taj and Prince and Chico Bennett's work, Paisley Park, and we'll play Love is Contagious. Sounds
Wonderful.
good? This is WVOF. Taja Sevelle, thanks so much.
All right, thank you.